Okay, so carrying on with the Python programming series. In this one then we're looking at an intermediate quiz. Starting off again in Teams, I'm going to click on View the Assignment. I'm going to click onto the IDE. Again, the YouTube video is there for you to watch. The OneNote is there for you to turn your work in with. So, run back into Program Is. Again, click Run just to double check it's working. I'm going to remove these two elements and just put in place again. Welcome to my quiz. Just like we did last time, but we're going to step up, we're going to change it up slightly. And the way we're going to start is with a function called question. Now, a function essentially is a piece of code that you can call at any time, and the program will repeat that function. So I'm going to say hello to prove my point. Now, the way that this will work is if I click run, this function has never been called, so it never gets used. To use this function, underneath the function, I need to call its name, which is just question. We will be looking at passing elements into it in a second. Now if I run it, it actually calls that function and runs through it. I can take that name and call it as many times as I like. That V is going to cause me errors. And it will run that function that many times. So that's proved my point at least 5 times. So I'm going to get rid of these a second and just put it back to just the one. The difference we're going to do here is if I put in here, so I'm going to say question 1, just like I did in my previous quiz, I'm going to say what is the capital city of Wales, and I am going to build in again \n number 1 Cardiff. I'm going to mix my answers up compared to last time. \n number 2 I'm going to say London, and \n number 3 I'm going to say Paris. Same 3 answers I used as the first one, but in a different order. Now, if I was to run this a second, it would cause me an error and it would crash. It says that question takes 0 positional arguments, but 1 was given. That's a fancy way of saying that inside my brackets, I provided it with some information that it wasn't expecting to see. If I put question here, I can't use question, I've already used that here. There's the name of it. So I'll just call it Q, simply. So question takes that variable Q. I'm going to tell it here that I want it to print Q. I've got to put in place that \n to make it go down to the next line. This time around, there it is. It runs and it does exactly what I said it should. But I don't want to print that. I want answer equals input Q. When I run that, it's my input then, and I can say anything I want to in that input. As we're going to be passing it multiple questions, we also need to pass in what the correct answer is. In the same way, now don't be alarmed about the fact that it's gone down onto a separate line. All it is my window for my IDE has run out of space. Suppose if I do that and zoom out slightly, it'll all fit onto one line. Now I'm passing it 2 things. So I need to tell it there are 2 things, Q and A. I'm then going to say if answer, which is what the user's given me, dot lower in a function, equals, double equals because we're comparing again, Q dot lower, just in case I put one as capital by accident. Then I want it to say print, and in there, well done, correct. I think I put you're correct last time, so I'll stick with that. I'm then going to go down to the next line. I'm going to say else, print, and I went with you're wrong. Put that in place. Now if I run that, that's how it looks. And if I put in Cardiff, it says I'm wrong. wasn't quite happy with what I've done there, so let me double check. Cardiff, yes, I've spelled that all correctly in that place there. Done all of that. That's why. That's a Q. That should be an A. Run that again. Try it again. Cardiff. Well done, you're correct. Now I can repeat this process by copying just this line, paste it. Instead of question 1, it'd be question 2. I'd say England. And then I'd say this is London. Now if I run that again, I'd say Cardiff for the first one. I'd say London for the second one. Now notice, capitalized there, not capitalized in my answer, because I use the toLower function, or the lower function I should say, it has made sure that it's normalized that. So this time around then, we are writing the same program as we did last time, but it should be more efficient and take up less lines of code. You by all means can use the same questions as you did last time. So England, France, and that would be Paris. And I did Madrid, just to keep in line and show you I'm doing exactly the same thing. So Spain, I had Madrid in here, and then Madrid here. Now again, capitalization on your answers doesn't matter on the basis that we're using the lower function here. When I run this, do Cardiff, and here I did London, perfect, I do Paris, and finally I do Madrid. And it's done correct for all of them. Just like in our previous, you need to be careful of your indentations, make sure yours are in line with mine, and you can highlight your code when you're finished with it, copy it, back onto the program, onto Teams, onto the simple Python quiz OneNote file, which will actually say on yours intermediate Python quiz. I just haven't renamed it for this example, and then Control and V to paste it. Again, it's going to give you some errors. Don't worry about that. It's because it doesn't understand the programming code you're using. You click on Close and click on Hand In. Now they're both handed in, what you could do is go on Class Notebook, which will open up your OneNotebook. If I click on this little symbol here, it will show me my notebook in my, believe, handouts. Yep, I have my original quiz, which is a long version of what we did, and our intermediate quiz, which is the same thing, but in a much more condensed fashion. That's all handed in, all ready to go to me to be marked.